right, guys. So today on our training, we're going to be going over something that I think that a lot of people need to actually be hearing and understanding that the market is shifting, the market is changing, it is moving dynamically in a direction that we have never seen before. For the first time in a long time, actually ever recorded base, we have positive rental history, we have positive sales market, we have positive interest rates. Everything is in the benefit of the consumer in the current environment, and that is something that we really need to kind of wrap our heads around and kind of identify that right now the state of the market is in prime time for everybody to be winning, minus one segment, and that is people that are renting properties. That is the one place where it is very difficult to be in a positive direction right now. And we've had a discussion about this a couple weeks ago in the conversation that we were talking about that interest rates, with where they're at today, are deteriorating the fact that renters having net worth and drawing down that net worth of renters. And I'll go over why that is such a big issue in just a moment. But first off, let's talk about this. So right now, historically, listings getting offers on their property, on the properties that are listed out. Historically, we've been sitting at an average listing would receive 1 to 2 two offers for every house that went on market. So they would get 2 offers, they would accept one and move forward. Today, right now, there is 4.5 average offers hitting every active listing. Now, what this means is this is a seller's market, and the seller has more opportunity to win in that market. But what it also means for all of you is that as a real estate agent, we need to make sure that we're consciously having conversations both with our buyers and with our sellers to make them understand what that means in the bottom line. So number 2, days on market. Now, this is a big item as well. Average historical days on market. Now, when historical comes into play, we're looking at a 3-year average of the last 3 years. So the average historical days on market was sitting at 35 days. Today, we're sitting at 17. Now, that is a huge change when you're talking that the average change between days on market is moving in a range of 5 or 6 days. And we've moved almost a full 15 or 16 days in the period of a year. This is a dramatic change in the market because what's happening is inventory is getting scooped up, but it's getting scooped up really fast. And how that's going to affect you is that sellers can expect for that process to move a lot faster, which means they need to have their game plan for what happens when that house sells, but doesn't sell in a month or 2, but sells in 17 days. This is something that we need to make sure that we're wrapping our head around as well, because this is a change in market. Now, everybody right now that's been doing anything in this market is saying, hey, Brian, this has already been going on for a while. This is not new. And you are correct that it is not new in the last year. But given those people that have entered into real estate in the last 3 or 4 years, this is not something that is normal, and the market will have to stabilize and steady out at one point. So being ahead of the curve and understanding how the market is moving is ideal. Now, the other side of the equation, the median monthly mortgage payment, okay, as compared to home buyers. So let's just put this in the perspective. If you're buying a home, it is now, right now, more affordable than it is to rent month to month. So the average median rental rate is sitting at about $1,600. So if you are a renter right now, you need to listen and understand that you are paying more than if you just simply go out and purchase, where the average median purchase is for a home right now is sitting at about $1,200. So we're talking a $400 discrepancy in that renter versus purchaser concept. Now, what does this mean for property managers? Well, property managers are loving life right now because rents are at premiums. They can hold the accountability of the tenant, and they have that ability. And the market for rentals has expounded dramatically. But what does this mean for that person that's getting into the investment market? Well, can this hold up? I have seen this part happen before in El Paso when the base realignment happened and a lot of new military troops came into town. We went way down on inventory and prices spiked dramatically. As that inventory starts to release a little bit, though, the market will establish the facts. So right now, what people are looking at is I'm going to build a 1,000-unit complex and I'm going to capitalize on the 1,600. Well, when you get this 1,000 unit or 20,000 units that enter into the market, the prices start to level out. We saw this in El Paso late 2008, late 2009, when we were at a shortage of 30,000 units. Those 30,000 units were built, but they were built at 50,000 units, bringing the price down and stabilizing the market. This is that supply and demand that we often talk about, is that this will start to see values come down to fruition. So be cautious of this, keep a mindset, and understand that is that rental rate so high that a purchase is actually smarter for your actual client. And then another big one. So this is kind of that four-pronged approach of everything's in the right benefit for the client right now, and that is that mortgage rate. So historical mortgage rate sitting at about 5.1%. Today, that mortgage rate is sitting at about 2.86%. Now, put that in perspective. The market has literally dropped by half or just close to half in the interest rate market. So that means that a person buying today is actually buying maybe at a higher price, but a lower monthly payment than the person that bought maybe a year and a half, or even 2 years ago. So I want that to kind of resonate in the fact that this is what is all working in the right direction. I don't even think it's called the perfect storm, because the reality is that none of these options are leading us down a path where things have to contract, except for the rental market. The rental market is the one caveat here where we need to understand that the rental market is going to change, but it's going to change in a manner that people will start to chase it. So you're going to see a lot of investment money. You're already starting to see this with places like Blackstone issuing up a bunch of new funds that are going to be just purchasing up real estate because they see the writing on the wall that says there is a lot of money being made in the rental market. We recently had this discussion that 40 rentals were generating 3,000 plus leads. What this tells me is that in our market, in El Paso in specific, and this is nationwide right now, is that the access to rentals is very minimal. Not to mention the access to home purchases are very minimal. So this is a usually what is called a cyclical market. So one thing's up, one thing's down. Right now we're in tune, and that is a little frightening to what happens. This is just going to keep that inventory pressed. And now we need to figure out what's the next step. How do we get into those next facets? Because this is just going to continue to push the market up. So what does this all tell you? Basically this. Understand that mortgage rates are down. Monthly payments for purchasing as compared to rental is down. And then you operate in days on market is down. And then on the one simple factor, listing offers are up. So put those things into caliber. The reality is that we need to wrap our head around what's going to be the future of our market with what's going on. And I would love to hear your chimed in thoughts, because I think that that will truly add value to how we can all grow together. So remember, I know we had some trouble on Facebook today, but on YouTube, add your comments, mention what you feel the market's going to do with these crazy stats that are happening right now, because I think we all need to kind of wrap our head around what is going to be the next step and how are we going to pivot to be successful through this next process. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it as always on Mondays that you kind of join me for me to go on a rant or a rave about something that I think is top of mind. Sometimes it's tech, sometimes it's just the market in general. I try to add as much value as possible. I try to back it up with that technology mixed in with statistics that kind of show where we're at today. Hopefully I did that. And I just want to encourage you that you're going to join us for our Tea with Andrew series, which happens on Wednesday Mountain Time at 3 o'clock, and also our fundamental series, which is happening on Thursday at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. This happens across our Facebook channels and our YouTube channels. And then last but certainly not least, this is a private Zoom call that we have every Friday. Tune in for our agent attraction if you are in that EXP model. Guys, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate. Post them in the comments or give us a call back, 915-256-6989. Talk to you later.